Thank you for watching The Abundant Life today. And thank you for joining the Abundant Life family. Have you subscribed yet? If you haven't, please go ahead and do it now. Click the subscribe button, then click the bell, because when you do, you will know when my new videos are released. In this video, I will be talking about how we can train our children to become adults who love and accept themselves and know their worth. You do not want to miss this. Do not move. I will be right back. Becoming a parent is exciting. However, it comes with an enormous responsibility. We have this awesome task of providing for our children and training them to love themselves, demonstrate good character, and contribute meaningfully to society. But how can we do this effectively? How can we ensure that our children grow up to become adults that we know they're capable of becoming? Many parents use negative reinforcement and criticism in the hopes that it will motivate their children. Some parents will use language like telling a child they're not smart, they're stupid, they constantly need to do better, they're worthless, they're dumb, they're not pretty enough. This approach might push some children to work harder to gain their parents' acceptance. However, they become emotionally scarred for life. They may acquire degrees and certifications and secure the most amazing jobs and become successful professionals. However, they walk around feeling inadequate with low self-esteem and low self-worth. They go through life looking for someone to make them feel loved and accepted. You see, what happened was they were trained to love themselves with condition. I will love you if you get good grades. I will love you if you're obedient. I will love you if you fix this one little flaw in your character. We have to stop loving our children with conditions. Let me repeat that. We have to stop loving our children with conditions. If they do something wrong, they should be held accountable. However, you should not withhold your love and affection as punishment. We have to remember our children are in training and imperfect just like us. It will take them time to learn many of the things it took us a lifetime to learn. And the truth is, if we're honest, we're still learning a lot of things. How many things did you learn and perfect the first time you were taught? Imagine you start a new job and your supervisor calls you mean names and tell you you're not good enough because you did not get a concept quickly. He or she tells you not to call them until you get it. And on top of that, they walk past you every day and does not even speak with you. How would you feel? Wouldn't you feel hurt and angry? You probably feel ashamed and inadequate and think of even leaving the job. Many of us would go to human resources and consider even suing the company. Our children cannot leave us because they depend on us. When we talk negatively to our children, we teach them that they only deserve your loving words and kindness if they're perfect. We are essentially telling them that they will never be enough. Why? Because we can never be perfect. I would like to share 4 steps to help you train your child to accept themselves, validate themselves, and understand that they are enough. Step number 1, set limits encircled in love, packaged in love. Your child is watching to see, if I fail at something, will I still be loved? Or do I have to be perfect to earn love? When your child does something wrong or makes a mistake, let them know that it is wrong and whether or not they will be given a consequence for it. Whatever consequence you give, make sure it is age appropriate. When you're done explaining the expectation and the consequence, tell them that you believe in them and that you know they will get it right over time. Your role is to train them and love them through the process. When you are finished addressing the issue, nothing should change in your relationship with your child. Your love and your friendship should be without condition. Isn't that how Jesus is with us? We sin every day. There are consequences, but He does not stop loving us. If you want to learn how to be a parent that nurtures hardworking, confident, self-assured children, observe how God parents us and follow His steps. We get ourselves in all kinds of trouble. And although God corrects us, and although there are consequences, He still loves us. Step number 2, be patient. As parents, we sometimes expect instant results. We forget that our children are young. Their brains are still developing. I had that struggle for a while as a parent. I prayed about it. And the Lord reminded me, your daughter is developing. She's a child. You have this anxiety about, will she get this concept? Will it work out? Relax. Relax. Over time, you will see results. Did you know our brains stop growing at age 25? So what we say and how we treat our children will affect the structure and formation of their brain. It will take some time for them to learn new concepts. Some things they will learn in weeks, some years. For example, if your child leaves their clothes on the floor and you tell them they should take them up, and you also tell them the importance of being tidy and picking up after themselves, do not expect them to stop doing it instantly. That is unrealistic. You will have to remind them a few more times to come and take their clothes up. The key thing is not doing it for them, but teaching them that it is their responsibility. Remember, they are in training. With consistency and repetition, they will learn the task over time. Their brain will learn it automatically. They will start to do it without you telling them. Remember the old saying, repetition deepens impression. Step number 3, apologize. Say sorry. Apologize and say sorry. Parents, if you're guilty of not validating your children enough when they make mistakes or becoming angry and saying hurtful things to them, just know that you're not alone. I have also been guilty of that. please don't beat yourself up. You will make mistakes as a parent. However, you can recover from them. It does not matter how old your children are. Apologize to them. Say sorry. My mom apologized to me for things she said and didn't say during my childhood. She explained that she did not know better. However, she since have learned that it was wrong, and she said sorry. That meant the world to me. It healed a lot of wounds. I do the same with my daughter now when I get upset and make her feel less than worthy. I apologize and I promise to do better. When we break our children's hearts, shame them, or cause them physical or emotional pain, saying sorry validates their feelings and helps them to heal. They also learn that we can take responsibility for our mistakes and that mistakes are a part of life. Saying sorry also strengthens your relationship together and makes your children feel safe enough to share their failures with you. Step number 4, teach your children how to validate themselves. Our children have negative thoughts every day. They ask themselves many questions. Am I pretty enough? Am I smart enough? Am I lovable? They compare themselves to others and doubt their abilities. We have to teach them how to accept their flaws as opportunities for growth, celebrate their strengths, and not to compare themselves to anyone else because they are special and unique. We have to validate them with our words and actions instead of confirming their fears. Then, let them repeat as often as possible the qualities that makes them special. This will prevent them from taking those negative thoughts they have about themselves into adulthood because they countered and challenged those thoughts throughout their childhood. And this is where you have to remember that the brain is forming, the structure of the brain. So guess what? When we teach our children to challenge negative thoughts by reaffirming them, validating them, their brain is growing as positive minds. They will have a positive mentality. I have a message for someone who may never receive unconditional love from a parent. Your parent might have a mental health condition that makes it harder for them to love you the right way. Or your parent might just never have the insight into seeing how our words impacted you. If your parents failed to remind you that you are deserving of love despite your imperfections, I have good news for you today. Jesus created you and He loves you unconditionally. And even when we failed, even when Eve failed, He gave up His life to die for us, to die for you. Why? Because He loves you. He does not stop loving you if you make mistakes. And He also promises to forgive. The Bible says in 1 John 2 verse 1, "My children, I write to you so that you will not sin." So He gave us all the instructions to prevent us from sinning, just as we do as parents. Give our children all these instructions to prevent them from making mistakes. But hear what God says. "But if anybody does sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ, the righteous one. He is the atoning sacrifice for our sins, not only for ours, but also for the sins of the world." He promises healing and restoration. He promises comfort and support, even when we make mistakes. He will help you fulfill your purpose on this earth, all the while reminding you that you are precious in His sight. You are enough. If you know the story of the children of Israel in the Bible, check it out if you don't. They sinned and made mistakes so many times. They even dishonored God. After all they did, Isaiah records a beautiful message that God gave him to share with them. You can read the whole chapter when you have time. Verse 4 says, "Since you were precious in my sight, you have been honorable, and I have loved you. Therefore, I will give men for you and people for your life." I hope you feel encouraged with that. That you are precious in God's sight, and He loves you. And on top of that, He will defend you and protect you. Take someone's life for yours. That's how important you are to God. Finally, I want to leave with the analogy of a plant. You have a plant that you have planted, and you want to see that plant grow and bear beautiful fruits or flowers. Would you feed that plant poisonous liquids in the hope that it will develop a resistance to poisonous things in the soil? What happens to that plant if you do that? Yes, it will wither and die. Instead, you have to water that plant. You have to fertilize that plant with nutrients for the soil. And then you will see that plant grow and flourish. It's the same with our children. The best defense for challenges in the mind is to help them to learn to validate themselves and tell them positive things every day. And when they make mistakes, remind them that, hey, this is how you do things. There might be a consequence, but remember that you are imperfect and you will get this right. And it does not change the beautiful person that you are. You are amazing. Let us love our children without conditions. Let us break the cycle of earning love. The outcome will lead to successful adults who know their worth, who walk in confidence, not in shame, who do not chase after validation of others to the detriment of themselves or others. I hope you found this information helpful. And do not forget to share if you did. Subscribe, hit the bell so you can be notified when I have new videos. And until then, take care and see you soon.